Hi, welcome to Did You Stamp Today with Amanda Mertz. Today I'm going to show you how to make this double easel fold. We made this at my last class and I told my stampers that I would make a quick video so they can recreate it at home and hopefully you can join along the fun also. Stands up nicely like that, and that's the side view. So let's get started. All right, let's get started with the scoring portion of our double easel fold. First, you're going to take a piece of basic white thick, and this is just a regular 8.5 by 11 that's cut in half, so it'd be 4 1/4 by 11. I'm just going to score it straight in half at 5.5. And this creates the base of the first fold, so it stands up. Then your second piece is going to be a piece of sweet sorbet, and it is 4 inches by 10 1/4. And this one we're going to score at 2.5. And 5. And this creates the second part of our easel, like that. All right, let's get on to the stamping. We are going to be using the Country Bouquet stamp set and the Country Bouquet Builder Punch to make this card. So first we're going to start with our hearts and some sweet sorbet ink to match our easel base, our second easel base. So first we're going to ink it up, and I always put an arrow when I'm doing a class if it needs to line up with a punch, just so my stampers can see which way they need to stamp, just so that it lines up perfectly when they go to punch. So we're going to do that one. Set that aside. Then we're going to do our sentiment and our leaves again, so it lines up with the punch. And we're going to use some mint macaron ink because that coordinates with the designer series paper we're using, which is the Country Floral Lane, and that coordinates with this whole bundle and suite in the catalog. So stamp your leaves. Then we're going to stamp the sentiment. Here we go. And so I purposely made this piece a little bit longer so I'd have enough to hold at the top to slide it into the punch. But if you get stuck with a short piece that you can't quite grip, just use a sticky note on one end to hold it. I'm trying not to get my head in the shot here to line it up so you can see it's easier when you can put your your head right over. I'm struggling with this. What happened? Did this get taken off the punch? All right, let's punch this one, or stamp this one again. Line it back up. See, not everything always goes according to plan just right in a video. Don't ever think that demonstrators don't mess up when they're doing something. So let's just stamp this one again. Sometimes if it gets pulled off the block and it doesn't get put back on straight, oops, and I didn't. I put it back on opposite from the arrow. So let's see if this lines up better. That lines up better. There we go. So let me show you the quick trick that I should have explained it as I was doing it. So if you have something with like a 2-step stamp or something that needs to line up with a punch, and it's got kind of like 2 parts that has, you know, it might be a little bit flimsy or sometimes a long sentiment, trying to put it on here, sometimes it can start to wiggle and you don't actually get it lined up just right. The easiest way to do is put the stamp down flat on a piece of, you know, scrap paper, and then just press your stamp block down into it and it picks it up and it keeps it much more even than if you're trying to use your hands to do it. So that's a quick tip. So you saw that little mix up there, and this one didn't line up with the punch, but now this one did. So we're all set. Now we can do the leaves. See, that lines up a little bit better. They go flying. Find your pieces that you need to save. Get rid of those. 2 leaves. Grab some glue and we'll put together our little rose flower heart. So you just want to kind of glue that one down. A little dab of glue for the leaves. And I don't think the leaves really have an up and down, but if you have a preference, they are, I think, interchangeable. Overlap that one. There we go. All right, we'll set that one aside to dry. If I can find some paper snips, there we go. Make the quick banner. The stamping on this card is really basic. You don't need to have a lot going on because you're going to show off several different patterns of designer series paper, and then you've got your fancy fold too. So there's a lot going on already. So once we get these pieces, we'll set all that aside. And all right, let me show you how to put together your bases. So again, we've got our base that we scored in half, and then we've got our sweet sorbet panel that we scored twice. So this card comes together, it's 3 scores. I told my stampers, I was like, it looks more complicated than it is. You just have to get the right size paper, and then you're all set. So you're gonna put your sweet sorbet panel onto the front of your basic white thick panel, and I definitely use the thick or second colored cardstock for the base. I think that definitely helps it stand up and keeps it from being too top heavy once you put your other elements onto the front. So next you're going to take a piece of the Country Lane Floral Designer Series paper. We're going to use this cute bicycle pattern, and this is cut at 3 1/4 by 5, so 3 1/4 by 5. So we're just going to put a little glue on this one. And this one fits nicely right here, that back panel. All right, and then we have another piece of the Country Lane Floral and the Pretty Hearts, and this is cut at 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And this one fits perfectly right on the front of the easel. Nice little stand to hold it up. So that's going to be how it's going to look when it's standing up. I don't know how that shows up on the camera. Next, I cut a basic white circle out of the Stylish Shapes circle die, and we are going to use a tiny bit of tear tape to attach this to our card front. So you're only going to need a tiny bit just at the bottom, so like this, because it's going to stick up above that first flap. If I can get this off. There we go. So it's going to stick up like this, so you don't have a whole lot of contact between the circle and the card front. So I would suggest using the tear tape so you get a really good seal there, and then make sure you don't get it above, so then it doesn't stick your whole card together. So we've got that. Now we've got our little heart blossom that we punched, and we're going to put some dimensionals on it. Let's see, dimensional there, dimensional there. I probably used too many dimensionals, but you can't ever be too sure, right? It's got to stick and pop. All right, we're going to just put that right here. We're going to get a length of ribbon, Just kind of eyeball it. Don't measure too often with my ribbon. This is the pretty paper that comes, or pretty ribbon that comes in a 2-pack. You get this crumb cake also, and this is also in the Country Lane Suite. So you get 2 rolls of ribbon in 1 pack. Do a little dab of adhesive to hold my loop open. Then we're going to do, let's see, right there, another little dab of adhesive. You can use a glue dot too, just have the adhesive handy. And I'm going to lower it a tiny bit so you can't see where my adhesive is. Then we're going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of our banner. And put that right across. And our final bit of stamping is going to be these sweet little hearts. We're going to stamp some of those on the side of our envelope, because what's the rule? No naked envelopes, right? So you got to have the outside look pretty, like the inside of your card. And so we're going to open that up. Try not to get my card in the ink pad. And then just going to stamp some hearts across the bottom. And it looks like this ink pad needs to be re-inked a little bit. Looks a little faded. There we go. And our double easel fold card is all done. There it is. And super easy. So remember, it's 3 scores. 1 on the white base, and then just 2 on the front panel, which we use Sweet Sorbet here. So I hope that was helpful, and I can't wait to see if you make this fold on your own. Tag me and look for other videos on my YouTube, Did You Stamp Today? On my Instagram, Did You Stamp Today? And my blog also, Did You Stamp Today? So thanks so much for stamping with me today.